Rain struck my face like charges being read aloud. Cold, cutting, unyielding. I stood barefoot on the driveway, my coat still hanging on its hook inside, behind the door that had just been slammed in my face. The porch light blinked once, twice, then held steady, mirroring her resolve. "Get out of my house," my wife had yelled. "You don't belong here anymore." 17 years folded into that single line. I didn't argue, didn't plead, didn't ask. Which lie had sharpened enough to do this kind of damage? I just left. 3 hours later, my phone would ring. But I didn't know that yet. All I knew was the storm felt sincere. People rarely are. I kept walking until the house vanished behind sheets of rain. My socks were drenched. My thoughts were not. They hardened. She hadn't looked at me when she said it. That was the detail that lingered. Not the yelling, not the name she called me. Monster. The way she refused to meet my eyes. Her daughter, stood behind her. On the stairs. Arms crossed, chin raised, dry, untouched by the mess she'd unleashed. 17 years ago, I chose them both. Tonight, they chose something else. The accusation came too quickly, too polished. A story rehearsed, not uncovered. Sentences stacked neatly, like they'd been practiced. In a mirror, I touched her. I frightened her. I threatened her. Each claim landed. Each one met my wife's nod before I could form a response. No questions, no doubt, no past, just a verdict. I replayed the scene over and over as I walked through the downpour, searching for the fracture, the pause, the slip, the tell. There was nothing. That's when it hit me. This wasn't confusion. It was a choice. I ended up beneath the awning of a closed gas station. Rain shrieked as it hit the concrete. I stood there soaked, breathing evenly, letting the shock drain from my veins. I didn't call anyone. Innocent men panic. Guilty men beg. I did neither. I thought about the money that had gone missing from my wallet. Her sudden edge this past year. How my wife stopped asking me to drive her places and started trusting her version of events over mine. I remembered a look she'd given me once, quiet, calculating, like someone deciding how loud a lie has to be to pass for truth. I checked my phone. Nothing. No texts. No missed calls. That bothered me more than the shouting. When the call finally came, it wasn't my wife. It was a blocked number. "Sir," the voice said, measured, professional, "we need to ask you a few questions." Rain dripped from my hair onto the cracked pavement. "About what?" I asked. There was a pause. Then an allegation. I closed my eyes, not in fear, but in recognition. Lies like this don't begin in storms. They're planted long before the clouds gather. The officer didn't sound angry. That's what chilled me. Anger is human. Anger rushes. Anger slips up. This voice was controlled, flat, already leaning toward belief. They asked where I was. I told them the truth. Under a gas station awning, alone, soaked, without a home. They asked if I'd come in voluntarily. I said yes, not out of fear but curiosity. I wanted to see how far the lie had traveled. The station smelled of stale coffee and disinfectant. Place built to strip feelings down to facts. I sat upright, hands folded, calm. They read the accusation aloud. Every word felt familiar, not because it was true, but because it was exact. Dates, times, locations. Too clean. Real trauma bleeds. This was choreographed. When they asked if I wanted a lawyer, I almost smiled. "Not yet," I said. They exchanged a glance. I let the silence stretch. Silence makes people fill it. This time I started. I told them about the missing cash, the sudden shift in behavior, the earlier accusations at school against another man, quietly buried, that made them pause. Then I gave them the detail that mattered. "There are cameras in my house," I said. "Every hallway, every shared space, installed 3 years ago. My wife hated them. My stepdaughter forgot they existed. The room changed. They asked why I hadn't mentioned it sooner. I leaned back. You didn't ask." It took 47 minutes to pull the footage. I watched their faces as the timeline unraveled. No touching, no trapping, no threats, just distance, avoidance. Me stepping back when she entered a room. Me leaving doors open. Me leaving. One officer cleared his throat. Another rewound a clip twice. Then they saw what I already knew. The night she claimed I cornered her, she was alone, speaking to her phone, rehearsing. They didn't cuff me. They didn't raise their voices. They asked one last question. "Sir, did you know this would happen?" I thought of my wife's eyes, how she looked straight through me. "Yes," I said. "Just not tonight." They went to the house without me. Procedure. 3 hours later, my wife called. Her voice wasn't loud now. It was small, They want to talk to me, she whispered. They're asking strange questions. I said nothing. Silence is a kind of revenge that doesn't dirty your hands. By morning, the story inverted. Contradictions, gaps, messages, uncovered. Another parent reached out. Pattern took shape. My wife called again, crying this time. I didn't know, she said.
I sueri.
Didn't know. I closed my eyes. 17 years, and she believed a lie. Faster than she believed me. I know, I said evenly. That's the problem. I never returned to that house. I didn't pack. I didn't argue. Didn't reclaim a thing. They apologized, both of them. Too late. Apologies are just sound. The report cleared my name. The truth destroyed hers. And my wife, she still calls sometimes. I don't answer. The storm didn't exile me. Showed me exactly where I never belonged. I changed my number after the third voicemail. Not because her words hurt, because they were empty. She cried in fragments. Apologies sewn together with panic. She said my name like it was still hers, like repeating it enough times might rewind 17 years. Doesn't. Time only moves forward. So do lies until they meet a wall. I learned the rest without asking. The investigation didn't stop with me. It never does when a story falls apart too neatly. They found messages on her phone, threads deleted, then recovered. She'd been practicing accusations with someone else. Coaching, tweaking, details. Attention is a potent drug. They called it a cry for control. Called it what it was. Weaponized innocence. My wife sat in that station too. Different chair. Same fluorescent lights. Only this time, no one was screaming for me to leave. They showed her the footage. Her hands trembled, not because she saw the truth, but because she saw how easily she trusted the wrong voice. That kind of guilt doesn't shout. It eats. I rented a small place across town.
Bare walls?
No pictures. No past. Trying to speak to me. At night, the quiet was loud but honest. For the first time in years, my thoughts didn't need armor.
I replaya moments primers de dismissa.
How she cut me off mid-sentence. How my opinions slowly turned into debates. How love became conditional. I wasn't thrown out that night. I was released. Weeks later, a letter arrived. Handwritten. My wife's handwriting. Used to soothe me. Now it looked foreign, like a language I no longer understood. She said she was sorry. Said she failed me. Said she didn't know how to live with what she'd done. I folded the letter. Once. Then again. I didn't burn it. I didn't keep it. I threw it away. Like something past its expiration. The final call came from the police. The case was closed. False allegations documented. Consequences pending. My name cleared. My record clean. My silence vindicated. Is there anything else you need from us? The officer asked. I thought for a moment. No, I said. You've already given me everything back. Sometimes I walk past that old house. Lights on. Curtains drawn. Wonder if she ever stands where I once did, on the far side of a choice she can't undo. I don't feel anger. Anger is loud, temporary. What I feel lasts. Clarity. She screamed that I didn't belong there. She was right, just not the way she meant. Because the night she chose a lie over 17 years of truth, I stopped being her husband and started being free.